cutie, welcome back to my channel. My name is Micah, and child, I'm about to take you over to the cornrowing / braiding / speeding / protective style promised lands. I'm gonna show you how to part, how to cornrow, how to add in the hair, all that in between. It's gonna be great. Make sure that you like, you comment, and subscribe. Most subscribe. I wanna see you back here next week, and let's just go ahead and get into it. Blow drying is not required, but I do prefer it whenever I am braiding my hair. I find that it's a lot easier to part and maneuver with my comb in the braiding hair when it's in this state. Now let's get into products. So y'all, I'm going to be using Shine and Jam in the orange jar, which is extra hold, a rat tail comb with a metal tip in. I have this braiding hair on hand. It is 42-inch pre-stretched hair, rubber bands, and then my most useful tool is going to be my handheld mirror. It's going to act as my second pair of eyes. Getting into parting, I like to break down parting in steps. That way it's a lot more approachable. First, we're going to establish a very solid middle part. Whenever I'm parting any section of my head, I like to go in with a rough part with my comb, and then I follow that up with gel. That way I can just catch any stray hairs, see my part very clearly, and then go in and clean up. Now we're going to flip to the back of my head. Once I can no longer see the top, I do turn around. I section everything to make sure it's a lot easier to handle my hair because it can't get in the way. Then we're going to grab our mirror. I hold my mirror to act as the second pair of my eyes, so I will angle it depending on where I am in my head to make sure I can see the back of my head against my wall mirror behind me, and just going in section by section and cleaning up my part. Adding in gel after a rough part, that way I can just really see what I'm working with. And y'all, it's frustrating, but we get it done because if you look at this, it looks amazing. Now, after the middle part is established, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next part. Each half of our head can be looked at as separate halves. So for this half, we're going to split it into two sections, and then those two sections are going to be split into two again. We're going to first part right above the eyebrow and go straight back. I section my hair out all the time to make sure that I can just really see what I'm working with clearly, covering the part with gel. That way I can just keep it separated, cleaning it up, and then we're going to begin combing backwards. Now, when you do begin parting towards the back of your head, you are going to curve it slightly to follow the curvature of the head. So if you look, I'm angling my comb so that it really is curving downwards, and then we just kind of taper off to where our neck is. This is how it looks. The parting process is honestly the most tedious step in the braiding process because I really just want to make sure everything is very sleek, it's very uniform, and that overall my style is looking good, because with 8 braids in your head, parting is honestly at the forefront, so you do want to make sure everything is very precise. Making sure this section is evenly split in half, I'm going in with my comb section by section, taking little parts off, just making sure that it looks good overall. Then I'm going to section everything out of the way, and we're going to go in and clean that part up, just like this. Once I apply my gel, I am going to comb it with my comb to kind of get any stray hairs that I can see or feel. Then we're going to twist the section out of the way so that we can part the first half into 2 sections. These are going to be our first 2 braids. While doing this, you want to make sure that your head is very straight, very level. That way your parts aren't skewed to one way or the other, and that everything is very even. As you continue to comb through, make sure that your section doesn't have any hairs crossing over, and section your hair out of the way whenever you need it. So I usually will barrel twist it flat and kind of attach to my other ponytail. That way I can see what's going on in the back. These 2 sections have to be very similar in size, just going in bit by bit, taking my time to make sure the sections are the exact same size and that they also both taper as they get closer to the nape of my neck. To make sure that my parts are as even as I'd like them to be, I like to go ahead and barrel twist them out of the way just to kind of see what they look like if they were to be cornrowed. If you look, they're very similar in size and they're exactly what I'm looking for. So once that's verified, we're going to go ahead and twist it fully out the way and part the next half of our head. This half of our head is going to act as the bottom 2 braids. These are a bit small just because of where they are on your head, but they still have to be pretty even in size. I first do a part that is parallel to where my ear is, just straight across. Make sure that is as clean as possible, that my head is very level while doing this as well. I don't want it to be tilted downwards or upwards. Then, as I'm parting my hair backwards, I am going to curve my comb down. It is going to kind of follow the area of where my ear is. The section is a bit too thin, so I'm going to go back in and correct it to make sure that it's not this sparse. Going in with my comb, I sometimes will use the metal end of my comb and also just the other blunt end of my comb, depending on what I need. After securing everything with gel, you're going to see that this part is exactly what I'm looking for. It has great curvature. It's a good density to where my hair isn't super thin here, so the braid won't be too small. This is exactly what I'm looking for each side of the braid. Cleaning up those little end bits, making sure that it's tapered at my neck. Once this is finished, we're going to be ready to start braiding. Now that our hair is fully parted, it's time to begin cornrowing. Take a deep breath. You can do this. I'm going to show you how to do it in slow-mo, and then I'm going to show you what it's like in real time. So first, what we're going to do is mold our hair, which is when we take some gel and we apply it to both sides of the braid and then the front portion. Then we're going to part out an inch wide section at the very start of our braid. This is going to kind of act as an anchoring point and a starting point for the braid. Then you're going to comb it out. We're going to split this into 3 even sections. What helped make this process more approachable in my mind is to look at it as left, right, and middle, and then also to look at each rotation as individual parts. So when you move the left leg of the braid to the middle, that is 1/2 of the rotation. Then when you move the right leg of the braid to the middle, that is the full rotation. So each movement is 1/2 of a rotation. You're going to do 2 rotations for the start of your braid. So we moved the left to the right. Now we're moving the right to the left. Then you're going to begin positioning your hands to start adding in hair. So you're going to hold the left leg in the left hand and the right leg in the right hand. You are then going to hold the middle portion of the braid and the remaining hair in the part between your pointer finger and your thumb. Maintaining even tension, you are going to press your right pointer finger through the section of hair that you're holding between your pointer finger and your thumb on your left hand and reach for the left leg of the braid. That's 1/2 of the rotation. You are then going to reposition all of your hands, hold the section of hair and the middle leg of the braid between your pointer finger and your thumb on your right hand, and then reach underneath that with your pointer finger on your left hand and reach for the right and bring it to the middle. If you look, we're going to do it again. Pointer finger from our right hand under the section that we're holding, reaching for the left and bringing it to the middle. Now repositioning our hands, taking that middle section and making it become the left leg. You're going to position your hands again, and you are going to point your pointer finger, put it through the section that is underneath where you're holding, and reach for the right leg. So what we're doing is sectioning out hair from our part to add to our braid while continuing the braid rotation. So every time you reach for the left leg, that's 1/2 the rotation. Every time you reach for the right leg, that is 1/2 of the rotation. And while doing this, you are sectioning out small pieces of your hair within that part and adding it to your braid, which is becoming the cornrow. So if you look, we're going to go ahead and do a rotation again, positioning our hands, and then we're going to take our right pointer finger, section it underneath what we're holding with our left pointer finger and thumb, and reach for the left leg of the braid. Bring it to the middle, 1/2. Then we're going to take that middle leg, make it become the left, reposition our hands, and then have our left pointer finger poised to part underneath what we're holding with our right pointer finger and our thumb. Pushing underneath, reaching for that right leg, and bringing it to the middle. This is a full braid rotation. What's most important during this time is you're keeping a very even tension and you're taking your time to make sure that you are actually sectioning out enough hair. You don't want to take too much or too little because that can cause your braid to be bulky. Continuing this motion, this is how it looks in slow-mo. This is real time. Now that we've covered how to braid the front of your head, now we're going to go ahead and turn around to the back and show you what it looks like to braid from that direction. The only difference is that you are looking at it from a different point of view. So the right will become the left and the left will become the right, like this. Keeping the same hand positioning, you are going to reach with your right pointer finger underneath and go to the left, bring it to the middle. If you look, my right hand is holding the middle section. My left hand is poised to reach for the right leg of the braid and bring it to the middle. Repeating this rotation over and over and over again until we're at the nape of my neck and we have no more hair to add. So again, grabbing the hair with my right hand, holding the middle section and the left section with my left hand, taking my pointer finger from my right hand and parting it underneath as I reach for the left leg of the braid. Keeping a very even tension, trying to make sure that I can position my hands as comfortably as possible while doing this. And because it's the back, you can't see as well what you are parting into the braid, but just make sure that you are trying to keep your sections as small as possible. That way your braid is not too bulky as you're doing this.
Another important step about doing the back of your head is to keep your head tilted downwards. When you are braiding hair at the nape of your neck, you don't want your head to be upwards because that means that once the braid is finished, if you were to tilt your head downwards, it can be too much tension at the nape of your neck, which can cause tension bumps or uncomfortability. Now you've seen how to braid the back of your head in slow-mo. This was like in real time, a bit faster, but same motions, really making sure that my arms are not tense, my shoulders are not tense, and I'm keeping a very comfortable posture while doing this. I will braid down as far as I can before I do turn fully around. So if you look, I'm braiding down a couple inches past the nape of my neck. That way I can just check and make sure my braid is looking good, it's secure. If there's any problems, I will unbraid it and just kind of start off wherever I see an issue. Hopefully by this point in the video, you do feel more comfortable braiding the front of your hair and the back of your hair from behind. Now we're going to get into how to feed in hair. Now, I didn't know how to do this before doing this video, so it is all new to me. But I think if you learn the basics of cornrowing, it'll become very approachable to add in braiding hair because I only added in braiding hair towards the back of my head. I think I really only wanted hair for the length rather than fullness, so I used my natural hair for the first half of the braid, and the back is when I began adding in small pieces of braiding hair. If you look, following the same braid rotation, adding in hair from the right, reaching for the left, adding in hair from the left, reaching for the right, keeping a very even tension, taking my time. I honestly don't care about being too fast because I really want this to be as neat as possible. If you look, the braid is so flat as well because I do use a good amount of gel to where it's not cakey, but it is very sleek. It helps with the overall look of the style. As we continue down with the braid motions, I do want to make sure that I don't go too far back, and I really want to make sure that I'm adding in hair at the same place that I've added hair for every other braid. That way there's a lot of consistency within the style. The reason I love this style is because it's also very affordable. Y'all already had this pack of hair sitting in my room, so in a way it was free. Like, real math, come on. I'm sectioning out very small pieces of hair. I'm adding in this hair for length, not thickness, so I only need very small pieces. We're going to add to the back of our head. We are adding it always from the right. I'm right-handed, so I add it from the right. We're going to place the piece of hair in between our pointer finger and our thumb that is also holding the middle leg of the braid. We're going to position our hands to make sure that our right pointer finger is poised to part underneath that middle section and reach for the left leg of the braid, like this. Pushing under, reaching for the left leg, bringing it inwards, one half of the braid rotation. Then gathering the hair from the middle, making it the left leg, and then reaching under that middle piece that's held by our right pointer finger and our thumb, and reaching for the right piece and bringing it in, completing the rotation and poising us to be ready to add in our next piece of braiding hair. So if you look, positioning again, only adding in from one side. If you're left-handed, maybe the left. I'm right-handed, I'm going to do the right. Again, putting it in between my pointer finger and my thumb. I am holding the middle leg of the braid and also the hair that is left to be braided in the section. It's kind of a lot to hold. But if you get a good grip on it, it's very easy to maneuver. You're going to go ahead and get that pointer finger on our right hand, slide it underneath our middle section being held by the pointer finger and the thumb on the left hand, and reach for the left leg and bring it inwards. It is now the middle leg. We're going to complete these rotations down the length of our hair until we reach about a base of our neck, and then we're going to be good to reach the next step. Once I reach the base of my neck, I do stop adding in braiding hair for the time being because my hair is very thick. I don't want the braid to get too bulky, so I'm just going to check and make sure everything looks good as far as positioning goes. Then I'm going to turn around and face my mirror and flip my braid around over my shoulder so that way I can just look that way. I'm going to go ahead and brush my hair, make sure things are very uniform, very sleek. Sometimes my ends are a little bit too puffy, so I go in with some gel in my comb and just smooth that down. That way it just melts and blends better with my braiding hair, keeping very even tension throughout this entire process, adding gel when I need to, and adding hair as my hair begins to taper off into the braid. I am doing waist length braids. My hair is about shoulder length, so after that portion, I'm adding in braiding hair every step of the way. So if you look, I'm doing it pretty quickly here, but I am gonna give you a quick slow-mo. What you'll see me do is get the extra piece of braiding hair. I'm gonna lay it over the left leg and the right leg of the braid, and then I'm going to maneuver the middle piece of the braid to the left, one half of the rotation and then the left piece that is now the middle to the right, completing the braid rotation. This step is going to be repeated over and over again until I get my desired length. If you want a braid that's shorter, add in less hair. If you want braids that are longer, you're going to continue to add in hair until you get the length that you would like. Even though I was running out of time towards the end of the style, I never want to sacrifice any type of end result. So I do take my time to braid everything, maintaining a very even tension, brushing my hair when I need to, because I want this look to be very uniform and seamless. I don't want anything to look out of place, especially because it's only 8 braids. Once the braids are completed, it's time to do some finishing touches. My favorite lot of body foaming mousse is what I'm going to go in with first, getting a ton of that and applying it to the roots of my braids and my edges, just really applying as much as possible. I love this product. Then we're going to go ahead and put my hair into buns. Y'all, I was rushing off to work. This style is quick and easy, but I'm telling you now, the ends took me a minute. So I had to finish that when I got back home. Tying it into 2 cute buns, doing my edges. Because my edges are done, I can go anywhere, okay? Doing a little bit extra foam. Once everything like that is finished, I was able to comb my brows, head off to work with a really cute style. This hairstyle will last me about a week or so, depending on my preferences. Let's go ahead and get into the outro.
Girl, I did this style before running to work. I'm telling you now, the style is doable, the style is doable, the style is doable. I had to wear my hair in buns. I came back home after work. I was able to boil my ends. This is how they look, very loose. I can actually wear the style down. This is honestly how it looks. And also, if you feel like you have a big forehead, you can't wear stuff like this, don't let that stop you. Me and my 5 head are locked in. I'm gonna wear this style regardless. I didn't even know how to add in braiding hair before doing this. It's doable. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Okay? That does mark the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found something helpful from it. If I helped you, please comment below. I want to see how many people this actually gets to, because child, cornrowing is not easy. If you feel like you're struggling, if you feel like you're the only person who does not know how to cornrow, I'm telling you, you're not. You never will be, because it is a skill and you have to practice. Practice makes progress and you'll get there, okay? Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.